I know is that next month you have a special workshop in Vietnam for the young Vietnamese person who want to become a leadership. So I have some questions for you. Because a lot of people are curious about the workshop and ask me and Ange a lot about the workshop. So, why do you believe the Breakthrough Leadership Program is a critical stepping stone for manager aspiring to reach a new height? Why you believe?
Yeah, I think I'm excited about the workshop. The first place we're gonna start with is self awareness. So if you're curious about yourself, you want to know your strengths, you want to know what does that mean, for work. You want to have that clarity. You want to build confidence. Join us for the workshop. This is where we're gonna start. So that it really is a critical step. And if you feel that, hey, you want someone that who have more of a coaching approach, really helping you to unlock that inner psychological barrier, you maybe sometimes is that limited beliefs that you have. I think you should join us. So self-awareness, growth mindset, power of yet, how do we unlock our potential, um, as an individual, as a leaders, what are the steps that we should take next, all of those things. If you're curious about that, you should come for the workshop.
Okay, yeah. So, can you share with me what is motivate you to focus on developing leadership skill and helping others reach the potential?
Yeah, I think it came from certainly myself. As I mentioned to you, my own journey is I was not very self aware when I was younger. I wish I were. And then as I started teaching, I had a lot of managers or leader that came to my class, and they've shared with me that, hey, I've rediscovered myself, or now I've discovered myself. So I always thought that why do we wait until later when we became a manager? So I really wanted to speak about this topic for young managers or leader. Maybe they've just started out, because I feel that a lot of time we don't realize that we have so much potential that is untapped. I believe everybody has their own talent. They really have potential to be the best in the version that they can be. So that's why that's really a big motivation for me. And then of course, through the time that I've been teaching for since 2017, and I see the impact. I see people change. I see people transform. I see people change job. I see them thrive. And even sometimes, that they maybe they stay put, but they started accepting themselves, who they are, and they develop coping strategies. They're able to, at least, thrive in the environment that they're in. These are the things that really keeps me motivated to focus on the area.
Yeah. So during the time I work with the N in the media team as other company in Vietnam, and I see one of the biggest challenge for young leader in Vietnam is not knowing how to lead the team effectively. So can you share a simple yet powerful story or they can apply immediately in the company or update your skills?
I think self awareness. Are you clear about who you are? My whole, big on self awareness is also about focusing on strengths. Really double down. Because that's where we're gonna grow the most. We can achieve exponential growth. We need to manage our weaknesses. We need to manage our triggers, our blind spots. And also, then once you know yourself, do you role model? Do you have the right people in the right seat? All of these are really important foundation in terms of starting your leadership journey.
So, what advice would you give a manager who feel limited by the current work environment but still want to grow and move forward? What advice you give to them?
Yeah, I think. I mean, look at this question. closely hold our hand. So the question, Han, is it's if the managers feel they're limited by their current work environment, right? But they still want to grow and move forward. Um, Maybe I will take a step back to think about what are the limiting factor. What are the limitation? Is that your boss? Is that company culture? Is that the job? Is that colleagues? Then we can think about how do we move forward. Every problem that or limitation that you face, may need a different strategies or recommendation. But I think one key thing is having a growth mindset. Really changing the narrative or story that you tell yourself, because we have these stories. We will say, well, I don't have the right skills, I have a terrible boss, or I don't have the right job, So how do we limit or reframe that constraints that we have in our mind? And then it's maybe you say, hey, maybe it's just not yet. You don't have that yet. And then you will start moving into what's in your control and what you can take action.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, if someone wants to become an entrepreneur or start a business, what should they prepare in terms of leadership and mindset and skill? What do you think?
Yeah, I think starting a business or being an entrepreneur, going back to self-awareness, but the self-awareness, focusing on why you want to start the business is the why. The why has to be clear. And we work with entrepreneurs in the education technology area. We also in F&B we actually mentoring 5 very young students to be an entrepreneur. They want to start a business in F&B, and you know it's interesting seeing their journey, because when they first wanted to create the business, it was about following trends. So we challenged them, if the foundation of the why based on just following trend or being trendy product, the longevity of the business, may be questionable, because entrepreneur is all about, your business is going to go up and down. Is the time that when no one is buying your products, you may not be able to sell that product that day. Do you still believe in you making that product? Is that because your why is so strong? So I think starting with why is the most important. And then and keep challenging yourself. Don't go into the trap of personal biases and thinking about, you like it, other people will like it. I think you have to also challenge, thinking about what is the problem you're trying to solve, because that's also part of entrepreneurship. There must be a problem, a gap in the market that you can provide a solution. I think having a long-term mindset, don't do it for 1 year, but do it for a decade. I think consistency is the most important. It's not about intensity. It's not a sprint. You know, Nothing is going to come out within a year. So you have to really plan. Am I willing to do this for a decade, or am I willing to do this for 10 years? Having a team is most important. Eyes for talents. Speak to as many people that you need to. Take the time to find the right partners, find the right team that align with your values and purpose. So those are I would say, the 3 things that most important.
Yeah. So, what the skill you think are essential for a manager to succeed in the Vietnam current work environment?
Um, this one, I wanted to, I'm really curious to learn more in the workshop, but my perception would be resiliency, to have that resilient mindset, to have that grit. to succeed in the current environment. I think curiosity, I think this self learning, you have to, really take ownership of your own learning, because you may not get that from your boss, or you may not get that from companies, or you may not get that from, resources around you. So, the manager has to take that ownership, learning ownership, to see, hey, what courses or what teachers I want to follow, or what mentorship that I want to have. And I would say nowadays, in any work environment, it is that human skills. We have a lot of technology around us, and we learn about, young leaders. They grew up with, technology skills, but it is that human skills that separate us from others, or technology. And how can we really hone into that empathy, emotional intelligence, problem solving? We walk in able to read the room. How do you pick up the, unexpressed wish of your team members? All of these human skills are extremely important in any work environment.
Yeah, with the development with a lot of AI and intelligence, and I think is human skill is very important. So this
Yes.
is the reason and want to bring a lot of leader like you come to and open this workshop and a course for helping a Vietnamese people can learn more about the leadership, about the human skill, and it can help you to develop in the company, or you want to become a manager or leadership in the company. So, for a young manager in Vietnam, what is the most critical skill for effective leadership in a multinational environment?
Yes, I think in apart from self awareness, because we talk a lot about that, right? Self awareness is the crucial foundation for leadership skills. I think in a multinational environment, I think, the human skills will be able to build relationship. Leadership is about relationship, because in a multinational environment, usually there is a path for you to succeed. So it's really not about what you know. I think we all want to focus on, oh, do I have the technical skills? Do I know the expertise, right? Those of course important, but it's not about what you know. It's about who you know, but it's also about who knows you, and who will speak positively about you. So it's about sponsorship. It's about people, recognize your potential because of those relationships. So I think, again, going back to building relationship, how do you do that effectively? Do you know yourself? Do you know your team? Do you have a great reputation? Or what kind of reputation you're building within the multinational environment?
Yeah, so guys, I think have us amazing knowledge and great conversation with Dion. So it's the last question for Dion today. How do you think this workshop will change the way managers view the role? How do you think?
I think, I have done so many leadership workshop. I think first people can, think about is they have more clarity about themselves. They will have more clarity about who they are as a managers. How do they express those strengths and limitation at work? How can they add value in their role? So that's really a key goals we wanted to bring to the workshop. Once you know your value, then it builds confidence. And then, the bigger question also would be, are you in the right environment? Are you in the right role? We had managers came to our workshop, that they changed their role, they changed company. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't, but I think you can be in the driver's seat to design your career, to design where you want to work, what kind of managers you want to work for, what kind of mentors you want to, learn from. So I think after the workshop, you'll be able to have more clarity in all of these areas.
Yeah. So thank you, Dion, for the great conversation together today. So I will put all the information about the workshop and everything about the social media about Dion and the team right on the description. If you want to more information, please can click on the below.